So this is a 99 Sienna van that we turned into a mini camper. But this is the van. So we have a standard just 12-volt car fridge freezer. It plugs into a cigarette lighter right back there on the Galley. Yeah, this thing actually works pretty nice. It's fairly inexpensive on Amazon. Yeah, so there's that. Back here behind us, we have a 500 watt inverter. It's plugged into the battery. So that's what allows it to be the 500 watt instead of 100 watt if it was plugged into a cigarette lighter. But you can charge laptops, phone, actually do a coffee grinder as well. The only thing that you can't do with that one would be a NutriBullet. The smallest NutriBullet is 600 watts, but we just didn't have enough space. Once you got over 500 watts, the inverters started getting a little bit bulky, and we just didn't have the space in here. So yeah, that was the one thing that probably wish we could have fit in here, but it just didn't work out. So this is our battery box, and all of our electrical is underneath the fridge. It's got this Grecian sheet metal to give you a little bit better air circulation down there. Didn't want anything getting too hot. So it's just got this lid. This slides off, and then here we are. So we've got a 100 amp hour battery in here, and we've got a little variable speed computer fan that's actually hooked up to a temperature sensor, so it'll turn on a little bit faster or a little bit slower depending on the temperature. And then we have two of these electrical boards that most of our stuff is mounted on. So this first board is our, let's see if I can, sorry, it's tough holding the camera and trying to pull stuff out. But there's three ways to charge the battery. We have shore power, the alternator / car battery, and then solar power. So this is the shore power charge controller. This is the Victron battery monitor shunt. So everything runs through there to be able to tell what percentage and all of the stats about the battery. So this is our second electrical board. So we have our solar charge controller there for our 100 watt Energy solar panel. We have our DC-DC charger coming from the car battery. And then we have fuse block and then two terminal blocks. So makes it a little bit easier to be able to do electrical work inside the van, to be able to just pull these two out. So this is actually about an 11-foot extension cord for the solar panel. So we have this just kind of sitting in here in the old seat belt hole right here, and this will usually just slide out this back door window, or sorry, the back window, and then now I can just pull this out. Usually we'll just stick the solar panel right up here, but you can put it at an angle depending on the time of day to be able to get the panels facing directly at the sun. So that's that. So then moving inside the van, we have our Galley. So we've got a little refurbished workshop counter that we just kind of stained and then put urethane on, so it actually turned out pretty nice. Looks pretty good. Here we have an extra little table to pull out, give you a little bit extra counter space, or be able to use to throw a laptop on, so that it's not sitting on your lap. The main storage are these two 13 by 13 milk crates for like pots and pans, stuff like that. They're held in with these little twist knobs. The big thing we liked about the milk crates was that you can just pull them out. They're easy to carry, so you can take them into your house, throw your pots and pans in, and then pull them back out here, and they stow pretty easily. Then this is also, we've got two of these little cubbies for utensils, and just can never have enough storage, especially in these little vans. So then it's the same thing down there. Right here is our portable stove. So this is just a single burner butane, just slides right in there. And then this we actually have, so if we go up here towards the front and we slide this all the way forward, give us a little bit more space. So down here underneath the seat, we have this little slide-in table that goes on the back side of the galley. Just sits in there, and then the stove will sit right on there. So that way now, if it's sitting up on the counter, we started initially we were gonna do that, but then that doesn't give you a lot of space to be able to even look inside the pot, and let alone for the heat and all that stuff. So this, it's near, you got the door you can open the window. You can also use our little USB powered fan to be able to kind of dissipate the heat so that it's not, you know, getting super hot up against the galley or the roof, stuff like that. So yeah, very simple. Actually kind of like the way it turned out, and love that it stores really well directly below the driver's seat right there. So here we have kind of our electrical switches and whatnot. This is our battery monitor. So it'll actually give you current amps you're using, the voltage of the battery, how many hours you could currently run whatever you're drawing. So right now there's not really anything, run for 240 hours. The current percentage of the battery, the total amp hours you have drawn since it was last fully charged, and then the current wattage you're taking. So you can get a pretty good picture of what's going on with the battery. So this one is 3 of these LED puck lights, and they fit really well up into the ceiling. They're super low profile, which is good because there's not a ton of space between this ceiling material and the actual roof of the car. So those are nice. And then this is actually a red light for, get back here, at nighttime. So like if you've got to get up, use the restroom, this just gives you a little bit of a light that you don't have to end up with those LEDs on and then adjust your eyes and whatnot. So we heard a lot of people talking about liking the red light, and so we liked that we were able to throw that in there. And then you've got just a standard 12-volt cigarette lighter charger, and then 2 USB quick charge outlets. So that and that. And then over here, we actually just cut this so that way you'd have a little throwdown mat. If your feet got super like dirty, whatnot, you can get the bulky stuff off there and then keep this one moderately clean. So then here for the sink, this actually has the pump switch built in to this lever for turning it on. So it's a little bit easier to use. You don't have to have another switch. And then we really liked that you were able to use this from either inside or outside. So if you did have dirty hands, whatnot, I'm still able to use this from outside the van before I get in. Just makes it a little bit easier. And then it's got 2 5-gallon jerry cans down below. You can use one of them as a gray water, but we used this once, and we liked using both of them as fresh water, and then having a little 1-gallon old water jug right here, because most of the time with the gray water, you're not going to use that much water, so you can dump it in between uses. So that way you don't have to use up one of these big 5-gallon jerry cans for gray water, and you get more fresh water for your trip. So that's that. And then next thing is the bed/bench. So we've got 5 more of these 13 by 13 crates. that, like I said, really like these, that they slide out. You can pick them up, although it's got the cushion in the way, but they slide out, make for really easy storage. And then they also double as the support for the bench becoming a bed. So 3 of these slide out, and then we've also got at 3 of these little pins that hold the middle piece in place. So it's just sitting on top of the bench. So there's one there, and then there is also one at the back. So don't have to worry about that moving while you're driving. And then this middle piece on top just pulls out. It was just resting on there, so we can pull this all the way and get it fully seated. So now we have an roughly 80 by 35 bed that actually is a lot more spacious than I initially thought it was going to be. It's also cool because the back cubby, where that used to be lined up with the back seat, it's kind of at the same height, so you've got a little bit of space like for knees right there or something like that. And so you actually could probably fit 2 people. You'd obviously sleep side to side. Couldn't really lay on your back, but yeah, it's actually a lot more roomy than I anticipated. And then these were just had extra material, and they kind of completed the look we were looking for. But yeah, so very simple, very easy to use. And then these pinholes also can lock. Oops. These pinholes can also lock the bed in place. So you can throw one there. You could throw one at the back, but that's only if you're like a crazy sleeper. So yeah, really kind of liked how that turned out. These cushions ended up being a little bit of a challenge. Haven't used a sewing machine in quite a while, but I actually like the way they turned out. Got a full 80-inch zipper on this side that's kind of hidden. So yeah. And then on the back side of the bench are 6 of these little cubbies. So they're great little storage for socks, underwear, stuff like that. You never really can get too much storage on this. So we threw it everywhere we could. And then at the foot of the bed, we have, let's see, the foot of the bed, we have this larger cubby. So we got to the point where the crates ran out of space. We couldn't fit another crate, so this one just ended up being a larger cubby. And then it's also got this little matting at the bottom because you've got your spare tire nut. So that's still accessible, so no big deal there. But the mat, just make sure that nothing falls through that hole, because that would be brutal to get anything out of there. So yeah, pretty maximal storage space on the bed. So actually, like I said, really like the way it turned out, and it's very simple. No real moving parts or any mechanical things that can kind of go wrong. Yeah, that's that. So then over here on the back side of the bed, this is where we have our solar panel stored. And then we've actually got reflective, or they can be blackout if you just turn them inside out. But yeah, super nice spot for the solar panel. Just pulls right out, and with the 11-foot cord, You can kind of put it anywhere you want to. So like right now, the sun's a little bit lower, so you can throw it on the ground and angle it a little bit more, whereas usually we just throw it on the roof. Yeah, it's got a little bit of space back here for the panel, and then you can throw, like, usually we'll have blankets or extra pillows, stuff like that for the bed that just kind of stow back here. So yeah, that's the van. In watching a lot of these van life videos, one of the things that kept coming up was that you wanted to be able to do everything with a van inside. In case you got bad weather, you wanted to be able to cook, you wanted to be able to troubleshoot electrical stuff, and then turn the bench into the bed, and then vice versa, all from within the van. And so I feel like we did that as best we could, and then kept it very simplistic with the storage, and then, like I said, turning the bench into the bed. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, what you liked, didn't like, questions you have, things we should have thrown in, anything. Just let me know. And then also, if you're interested in this, this van might be for sale sometime in the next couple weeks. Yeah, if you're interested, my email will be in the description, and feel free to reach out with any questions you might have. So, all right, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.